so much. Thank you so much. I do this because I love y'all.
Lauryn Hill just made history again. The woman who has been making history in music for 35 years accepted BET's first ever Living Legends Icon Award at the 2026 BET Awards at the Peacock Theater in Los Angeles. And the tribute performance that preceded her acceptance, featuring Doechii, SZA, Nas, Queen Latifah, Doja Cat, Common, and more, was a reminder of just how far her influence reaches across generations, genres, and decades. This is the story of the most important woman in hip-hop history finally getting the recognition she's always deserved on the biggest stage. After that extraordinary star-studded tribute, Lauryn took the stage to perform X Factor before accepting the award, and then she delivered a speech that moved the entire room to tears. "I do this because I love y'all," she began. "I do this because I want you to have everything that I experienced. I had wonderful parents who loved on me, poured into me, and protected me. Once I realized that not everybody got to have that experience, I felt like it was my duty, my responsibility to share as much love and to pour into as many people as I possibly could. And music was a way for me to do that." That's not an acceptance speech. That's a mission statement. Lauryn Hill isn't making music for fame or money or legacy. She's making music because she had something she wanted to share: love, protection, care. And she found music was the vessel for that gift. She recognized her own privilege in having parents who poured into her and decided to spend her entire career pouring into everyone else. She continued, "I had always cared about the expression and the representation of the dignity of our people. We put ourselves as artists in places and in situations where we have to say things that aren't always comfortable, but we understand that people will understand later. I fight for y'all. Everybody may not know about it, but I fight for y'all." 3 words that carry 35 years of weight. Lauryn Hill has spent her entire career saying uncomfortable truths, taking artistic risks, refusing to compromise her vision for commercial comfort, and she's done all of it in service of her community, her culture, and her people. Not for recognition, not for awards, for them. BET described the Living Legends Icon Award as honoring those whose influence has not only transformed the industry, but also shaped the culture, remaining true to their craft while staying connected to their roots. This distinction belongs to the artists and creators whose body of work has remained essential because the culture didn't hold on to them, but because they never stopped holding on to it. Never stopped holding on to it. That phrase perfectly captures what makes Lauryn Hill's career so extraordinary. She didn't chase trends, she didn't pivot to stay relevant. She held on to the music, the message, and the mission, and the culture never let go of her in return. For many people, Lauryn was the obvious and only choice to be the inaugural recipient of this award. Her resume speaks for itself in a way that few artists in any genre can claim. She got her start with the Fugees in 1989 alongside her classmate Pras, later joined by Wyclef Jean. The trio created some of the most beloved music of the 90s, Ready or Not and their iconic cover of Killing Me Softly with His Song among them. The Fugees built the foundation, and then Lauryn Hill launched from that foundation into the stratosphere. The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. If you need to explain why that album matters to someone, you might be having the wrong conversation. But let's state the facts anyway, because they're breathtaking. It debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 with 400,000 copies sold in its first week, a record for a female artist at the time. It made Lauryn the first female hip-hop artist to earn a diamond certification from the RIAA, with sales surpassing 10 million units. It holds the number 10 spot on Rolling Stone's 500 Greatest Albums of All Time list, and it helped redefine the entire narrative of women in hip-hop and R&B. One album, released in 1998, almost 30 years ago, and it still sits at number 10 on the greatest albums ever made. That's not nostalgia, that's endurance. That's a work so perfect and so true that time has only increased its value rather than diminished it. The tribute performance lineup tells you everything about the breadth of Lauryn's influence. Doechii, the hottest new voice in rap, SZA, one of the defining R&B artists of this generation, Nas, a hip-hop legend who has been making music longer than some of those performers have been alive, Queen Latifah, herself a pioneer who paved roads for every black woman in hip-hop, Doja Cat, Common. This isn't a lineup of people who grew up listening to Lauryn Hill. This is a lineup of people whose entire artistic identities were shaped by her. When SZA performs a tribute to Lauryn Hill, she's acknowledging a debt. When Doechii stands on that stage honoring Lauryn, she's honoring the woman who made it possible for her to exist in this space. Every woman in rap and R&B today is working in a landscape that Lauryn Hill helped build. And this Living Legends Icon Award is the industry formally acknowledging that truth. Earlier this year, Lauryn received her first Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination. She didn't secure induction this year, which is a whole separate conversation about an institution that has repeatedly failed to properly honor black women in music. But the nomination itself was overdue recognition that her work transcends genre classification. And Lauryn is not slowing down. She'll be hitting the road this July for a series of intimate acoustic performances across the globe. Starting July 2nd at the Granca Live Fest in the Canary Islands, returning to her home state of New Jersey on July 12th in Atlantic City for BET weekend, and wrapping up August 29th at the Mayo Calorama Festival in Lisbon, Portugal. Acoustic performances, intimate settings, Lauryn Hill stripped back to her voice and her truth. That's actually the most exciting version of this tour announcement. 35 years in music, a diamond album, a genre-defining solo debut, generations of artists shaped by her work, and now BET's first ever Living Legends Icon Award. Let's celebrate each other. That's what Lauryn said. Not celebrate me, celebrate each other. After accepting one of the most prestigious individual honors in music, her instinct was to make it collective, to make it about the community, the culture, the people she's been fighting for since the beginning. That's Lauryn Hill. That's always been Lauryn Hill. Talented beyond measure, yes, but more than that, someone who understood that talent is a responsibility, not just a gift. Someone who used her platform to fight for dignity and representation and love, even when the industry pushed back, even when it was uncomfortable, even when people didn't understand yet. I fight for y'all. Everybody may not know about it, but I fight for y'all. We know, Lauryn. We've always known, and we're so grateful you never stopped. Congratulations to the living legend, the icon, the one and only Lauryn Hill.